Welcome to Networking Unleashed, Building Profitable Connections, the show where conversations turn into opportunities and relationships turn into real revenue. I'm your host, Michael Forman, and this isn't about collecting business cards or chasing the room. It's about learning how to connect with purpose, speak with confidence, and build relationships that actually move your business forward. Today's episode goes straight at a topic most professionals avoid and pay for later: money conversations, confidence, and the role networking plays in both income and well being. My guest has lived it, transitioning from corporate finance into entrepreneurship by taking ownership, building the right relationships, and learning how to talk about money without hesitation. If you want stronger connections, smarter choices, and opportunities that find you, you're in the right place. I'd like to welcome Randall Avery to the podcast. Randall, I'm so happy to have you on the podcast because this is so very important to not only my listeners, but to everyone. If you don't mind, could you give yourself an introduction and tell us how you got here today?
So first of all, thank you for having me today. Listened to a lot of your podcasts. I think this message, the message of getting out there, talking to people, building genuine relationships, is important. And it's even more important in my journey and how I got to doing what I'm doing today. So I started off my career in internal audit. So a lot of people think internal audit as the bad guy. So some people going in. And we used to audit our external distributors. So I was really the bad guy coming into their distributing, asking for invoices. So what does that teach you? How do people react when they're uncomfortable? How to disarm people? Because a lot of situations we're going to come in as entrepreneurs, as professionals, people are not going to be as welcoming. So that experience was important. I learned about checks and balances in business in general. After my stint in internal audit, I did corporate FP&A. So that's really studying P&L, really providing the analysis for the business unit owners to make better decisions. Now, why is that important? That's because I supported different type of personalities, whether that's a person who manages sales, operations, product, marketing, different type of personalities who has different preferences on how they see numbers and more importantly, how they want to hear about numbers. Now, I did that for about 7 years, and now I'm a personal financial planner. I've been doing this for about 10 years. I sit with individuals, specifically business owners, and explain to them their numbers and how they can better win with money. And I use all those communication skills because let's be honest, initially, a lot of people don't want to talk to a financial planner. But as we move forward, I understand who they are, what drives them. That's how I show them the correct numbers to actually win in life.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We can probably do an entire podcast just on that.
Yes.
Okay, but first, let's move into this, like the questions that I've developed for you. Why do so many professionals avoid money conversations? And what actually changes when they learn to talk about money and with confidence and clarity?
A lot of people are uneasy about money because, to be honest, they've made a lot of money mistakes and they don't internalize that. That's fine because everybody has made money mistakes, but they internalize and they think about what could have been again and again over and over in their head. So to really open up and say, hey, this is what I've done with money, or this is where I am with my money is scary for a lot of people because we assume everybody's doing well with money. We assume everybody has a beautiful home, nice car, can go to all the activities in the world, but that's just not the case. And as a financial planner, I get to see directly how people struggling with money. Even people who make a lot of income, have a lot of assets, money is still a sticking issue. I think the second reason is also we have been taught money behaviors a lot of times from our parents, how they use money, how they leverage debt, how the insecurity within the household when money was stressed. Parents tell me all the time, I try to not let my kids feel anything about money, but we can go into a home and feel financial stress. So we feel it as children, and actually we actually transition to adults and make money mistakes. That's why money conversations are so hard for adults.
It's true. And you hit a point. You learn about money from your parents. And if your parents didn't really know, they either gave you the wrong information or they didn't give you any information at all. So you had to go find out for yourself. But unless you were self-employed or work for somebody else, that it really never came up. Comes up not until you're like 30 or 40 years old when you say, I better really find out what I'm doing. So what you're doing is so very important. And the younger they start, the better. That's one thing. In your experience, how does being comfortable discussing money instantly shift how others perceive your credibility and leadership in a networking setting?
I think it goes with any topic. People think money is isolated, it's this unique thing. But think about your business. As you open and are honest on any aspect of your business, how you're marketing, how your sales, opening up about that makes you seem a little bit more genuine and people are willing to open up with you. So if you talk to people about your money, specifically, let's talk to business owners about how much money you're making, what are your expenses, what are your profit lines. You have those conversations, people will open up and actually trust you even more because they realize, like we discussed earlier, the normal person is not going to open up. So when somebody opens up or show that level of vulnerability, that's when you can receive a little bit of automatic trust. And if you not only open up, but take advice, you'll be that person's best friend.
And really, the way you communicate with them is so very important. You can't just start spouting all these financial anything, all these big words, and they'll say, okay, thank you. You didn't help me. You have to really find that level, find that level of trust. In networking, know you, like you, trust you, they'll do business with you. But your level of trust is so much higher because when you're dealing with financials, that just means that, okay, I don't discuss financials with anybody. So you have to break through that wall. And once they trust you, then you're in.
And I think it starts off, a lot of people lead with, oh, I bring in so much in revenue, or I have so many clients. May I say, suggest start with a vulnerability. This is an issue I'm having with my P&L. This is an issue I'm having with my personal finance. This is something I'm confused about investing. If you start from the perspective of taking on advice, I think it'll work out better if you're trying to build a relationship than showing that, hey, I have it all figured out, when that's usually not the case.
Very good. Very good point. And yes, that would be a great way to break the ice and kind of break into that conversation. Okay. Can you share a moment where an open money conversation directly created a better opportunity, stronger relationship, or faster trust?
Yeah. One of my, I coined him as a mentor, I was a mentor at the time, and we were just discussing business, profit, loss, clients. As a financial planner, you get compensated in many different ways, but the two my primary ways, if you're fee only, is you can do a fixed fee, meaning you just charge a fee and they do a plan, or you can do asset under management. And I was describing to him, like, hey, the fixed fee, there's a lot of churn. How can I do asset under management? I use this custodian, but all the other custodians require minimums. He said, Randall, have you ever looked at the custodian I use right now is Charles Schwab? And I said, no, I thought they had minimums. They're like, no, they recently just waived it. And I think this is important for the audience. You don't know what you don't know, and somebody's going to know something that you don't know. So if you're, like I said, take the approach of being vulnerable, I don't know it all, I actually have this problem, people are going to quickly try to solve your issue, especially business owners, because we are so wired to say problem solution, problem solution. It is impossible. I think every person who's listening, their spouse probably knows this. If they're a business owner, you're always thinking about solution. So if you approach somebody with the problem, be honest and obey, I'm having this profitability issue, you'll be surprised what they give you.
I agree. I agree. I feel that every business owner, saying owner because I don't want to make it too big, but every business owner should get a mentor, should get somebody that they can look to or be third party and say, Mike, why'd you do that? Because this is a better way. Or have you tried this? Or I can't be there with you. But as you said, Charles Schwab just waived their fees. Now, you would never have known that unless you had that person to speak with.
And you need mentors really in every aspect of your business and your life. There's some mentors who are great at marketing, some are sales, some are operations, some are more the technical side. And you probably need a mentor in every aspect of your personal life as well. Don't, I would say have multiple mentors because one person cannot be the be all end all for your life. And you just need those different perspectives. But the key thing is a mentorship will not work unless you're honest, unless you're vulnerable, and also that you reciprocate, meaning that you actually listen, follow direction, and also show that, hey, I see you have this problem. I can provide you with this advice. And mentorship relationship should evolve into a symbiotic relationship where you guys are all winning because you're all growing.
Absolutely. And you made another good point. You have to listen to what they say. If it's good advice, follow through with it. Because if somebody's giving me advice and I never listen to it,
Yeah.
how long do you think he's going to stick around? But that's, you just really should take all the, you're right, multiple mentors to handle multiple problems within your business. You connect networking to both personal well-being and income. What's the unseen link between the quality of our relationships and the quality of our financial decisions?
And this shouldn't be a surprise to this audience here. Opportunity comes through connection. You obtain a job through going through an interview process, connected with somebody. You obtained a client by doing some type of sales process or some type of way that they feel connected with you to make a purchase. You cannot connect economic opportunity from relationships. So that is, I think, the key to everything. The second thing is, let's say you're able to make a lot of sales. Life is not fun unless you have genuine connection with folks. People love to do business with people they enjoy doing business with. So I would rather make 50% less income, but really enjoy 8 hours out of my day than making twice as much and not enjoying that. So think about people also want to enjoy their life. So if you mix great relationships, enjoying the job, what you're doing, how can you not enjoy life more? Now, the counter is if you don't have those things, that's where I see the negative money behaviors. Different uses of different alcoholism, doing things with your money that are not wise. Those are the symptoms of that I'm not fulfilled in my job. And I don't have fulfilling relationships. So it's hard to separate the two.
It's really a crutch, right? The alcoholism, the drug use, or something else. Yes, you're spending a lot of money in that, wasted money, but you're using that as a crutch. So there are several issues you have to take care of, but that's one thing. You have to use your money smartly. I, there's a saying that I bring up whenever I do workshops or anything. People hate to be sold to,
Yes.
but they love to buy. People love to buy, but they hate. Just think of that car salesman. When you walk through the showroom floor, he comes right up to you with a business card and say, "Hey, I'm Joe Schmo. Look at this Cadillac. Oh, it's got great. It's this. You want to take a ride? Because I can take you a ride. This is well, just let me get my manager and I'll just." I'm like, stop. Or the salesman that walks up and says, "Hey, Randall, how are you? If you have a problem, let me know. I'll be right over there." And you go off and do under. And those are two things. So people hate to be sold to, but they love to buy.
I think one of the things that I've learned through a lot of my sales training is I think naturally as entrepreneurs and people who have something to sell, we want to show up and be the hero in people's lives. But nobody wants you to be the hero. What they really want is a trusted guide. And once I switch from selling to guiding, and actually sometimes I may guide them away from me. But as long as I'm guiding them, providing my expertise, staying in my line, say, hey, I'm the financial expert. This is what the guide, these are the places you can go. And also, I have this. I think if people switch their mind to being guides instead of being the superhero or trying to show up as the superhero in the room, you'll become more receptive and become more likable, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. You become more of a likable person. You have to, like when you're going to a networking event, you're always trying to get onto the same level as them. And I use something called FORM: family, occupation, recreation, and a certain message. You try to get onto the same level, their husband, wife, sister, brother, son, daughter, whatever. I talk about youth sports. I was a baseball coach for 16 years, an umpire for another 3 years. So once you get onto youth sports, that's what I'll talk about, and I'll talk all day on it. And they never feel like they're like, oh, he demands my attention. They want to give me that information. So it's all how you take it. What separates surface level connections from relationships that consistently lead to referrals, partnerships, and shared wins?
I think it's when two people come together and they always think about what I can give. Never focusing on keeping score on what they're receiving, but I'm saying, hey, I genuinely like this person and I just want them to do well. And when both parties take that approach, it becomes a beautiful self-fulfilling cycle that goes on and on. Because if you think of somebody who's always looking for somebody's best interest, they usually, for that to be in that mentality, they usually have to have something going for themselves. So that checks that box. So they're not in a deficit. So two people are not in a deficit looking to better the other person continuously, I think over time, and not keeping score, because it could be 5 years, one person is helping out one person more than the other. It could be another 5 years, the other person's helping out another. Just to bring the story full circle, that mentor told me about Charles Schwab. He's a college professor now. And guess who goes and lecture at his classes every single year? You see how that cycle continues to go back and forth over again. So if you're always looking to give, I think that's when a beautiful relationship happens.
That's known as having a servant's heart.
Yes.
When you go to a networking event, I keep going back to networking events, but use this in any part of networking. By having a servant's heart, you're looking to help everybody else. You're not looking to sell anything. You're not looking to give anything. Just, Randall, I like you. I like how you do business. I like what you do. How can I make you more successful? How can I be a good referral source for you? And if I did my job correctly, you'll turn around and say, Mike, I don't even know what the hell you do yet. And you're trying to make me more successful? Yes. So that's having a servant's heart. That is looking to help everybody. And Zig Ziglar was big with this. What goes around comes around. Because if I helped you, you'll feel compelled to say, "Oh, Mike, help me. I have to find somebody for Mike." So that's, but what you just described is having a servant's heart.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Can professionals intentionally build networks that support not just growth, but better judgment, confidence, and long term stability?
I think there is a bit, of course, you want to always give. But what we talked about earlier, once you give, somebody listens and they put it into practice and you see that growth. Guess what happens? You're going to be attracted to those people who listen and grow, listen and grow, listen and grow until eventually, hopefully, if you're being mindful, your whole circle is just listening and growing together. So if you are that person, you're going to begin being around other people. So it creates little networks where all you are, what we call high performers, could be another corporate word for that, are somebody who are just winning in life. That's what should happen over time. You're hanging around people who are listening. You're also listening and winning as well. And then that's how those symbiotic win win relationships happen.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Okay. You made the shift from corporate finance to entrepreneurship. How did your network influence your willingness to take ownership, risk, and responsibility?
To be honest. So I did initially, I did pretty well for myself in the corporate world. So when everybody knows you as the corporate person, and then telling them that, hey, I'm going to take away the title of the corporation and start your own business, a lot of people are hesitant. They're scared. They're fearful because one, they don't know. And they're saying that that's a route I haven't heard, but the route you were going on, I've heard been successful 100 times over again. So the initial was, are you sure that you have a headstand? Are you sure that you want to make that move? After that, then they begin to watch you and they slowly become to support you. They say, okay, he's serious. And I think the biggest thing is once you begin getting results, and that's the hardest thing, going from zero to results for your clients or whatever you want to serve. Once that results, that's when, they say the flywheel begins to spin faster and faster. But getting from zero to getting results for people, I think that's the challenge. And once you start getting results, that's when the support, I believe, explodes.
You're right. And you could say support, I say credibility. You need that credibility for somebody to trust you. In order to get somebody to trust you, it's a whole big cycle. But once you start that cycle, once you start forging forward, there's no stopping you unless you stop it. So unless you say, okay, enough is enough, your clients will see you building and building, and you'll get more and more clients. That's the way I've seen every business start. That's the way that I started with speaking and everything else. I had to first build my credibility. Looking back, what networking habits helped you move from employee thinking to owner thinking faster than anything else?
In the corporate space, it's about speed networking. It's about quick hits. What can you do for me? All those different things. Who do I know you? And what in the corporate space, they don't teach you about sales. They don't teach you how to truly build relationships. And when people think of building relationships in business, it's a gray area, but I'm just going to pull back the veil. Build relationships as you're building with the personal friend that you grew up for kids. So what do? You guys go out to eat with each other. You guys share hobbies with each other. You guys are vulnerable with each other. You guys do these different things. Those are the exact same things you have to do to build a relationship. And I think the difference was I didn't know you had to massage and work at it. So it's natural with the friends that you grew up with because you guys have a rhythm and a flow. You actually have to create a rhythm and a flow with each new person that you really want to build that intimate connection. And it takes time. And it's almost like nurturing a garden. You have to till the soil, you have to plant the seed, you have to water it, and you have to look and watch. And the watching is the headache, but that is what you have to do to build a relationship that is not corporate, but actually as far as an entrepreneur.
Which is exactly what I do.
Mhm.
Is exactly all the networking, all the everything else, what I talk about and everything else. So what you just said about building that relationship ever since the pandemic, people have gone from transactional to relationship. And the relationship for me is so much more rewarding than transactional because you get closer. But that's exactly what you have to do to build your relationship, to build your clientele. I'd rather have 10 clients like that than 100 clients transactional
Yes.
because the relationship will go further.
Yes.
Okay. For someone still employed but feeling the pull towards independence, what small networking moves can they start making now without burning bridges?
I think the number one thing I would recommend is find somebody who does what you do and literally cold call them and does somebody something that you want to do and literally cold call them and reach out to them and say, hey, I'm looking to do what you do. How did you get started? The natural corporate employee mentality is like, why would they tell me anything? I'd be their competitor. But you'll be surprised that people, especially entrepreneurs, will open up and say, hey, this is how I did it, this is how I recommend, and this is how to adjust. And if I started day zero today, these are the steps that I can do. And don't just take that from one person, take that from multiple people. And then after that, continue to keep in contact with them. Nurture that soil. Take them out to a coffee. Tell them how you do this. And even go as far as, do you have a project that you need help on? So what are you doing? You're getting somebody who can vouch for you, and you're also getting some potential practical real world experience. You put those two together, you will have a level of confidence when you step out that you won't have if you just make a jump early.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some of my coaching clients, when they're trying to attract people on LinkedIn or something else like that, people are always willing to discuss what they do. If you called me and said, Mike, how did you do this with networking? Or what about this networking event or something else? I take that as I'm the professional. That means that you're coming to me for help. I'm going to open up. I'm going to give you everything that I can. That's the way I believe personally, every employer or every person in that type of position would do. They would just open right. Would you mind if I had a cup of coffee with you? Not at all. Sure, come on by. I'll spill my guts. If they're close enough, can I buy a lunch? And you can discuss things over lunch. Absolutely. That is the best way to get and start building your relationship and build that kind of that work relationship where that person can also become a mentor.
And people say our word, what if they don't respond? What if they think about it this way? You probably don't want to socialize with somebody who wouldn't help you out. And the second thing is they may be in a point in their life, whether they're slammed at work, maybe they have some personal matters, that they probably need that space. So don't take it personally. Just know that it's part of the process. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, getting used to being ghosted or rejected may be a skill set you may want to develop. So it's a win-win across the board.
Yep, get a thicker skin.
Yes.
That's the best way to say it. Just a little bit thicker. And if you get ghosted, if they don't answer you, all right. So you know what? You tried it. You move on to somebody else. Okay, let's bring this full circle.
Yep.
If you could give one networking principle that improves both income and peace of mind at the same time, what would it be and why does it work?
As entrepreneurs, we may have a typical client base. One thing that I would recommend is try to punch up. Ask for that client that may be slightly above your usual client base. Network with somebody who's slightly above where you are as an entrepreneur. And if you always try to network and punch up, I think you'll be surprised at who's open to share things with you, as we discussed, and also where what may fall into your lap and in your hands, because people are always looking for people to help. Key thing is, you have to listen, you have to follow through, and you have to show fruit. If you show fruit, there'll be a lot of people eating in your garden, I promise you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is why networking done right changes everything. It's not about who you know, it's about how you show up, what you're willing to talk about, and the trust you build through real conversation. If today's episode made you rethink how you approach money, relationships, or the next step in your career, don't keep it to yourself. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Make sure you subscribe to Networking Unleashed, building profitable connections, so you never miss a conversation that can shift the way you connect and earn. And if you're ready to take your networking skills to a higher level, visit me, michaelaforman.com, and learn how I work with professionals, teams, and organizations. Until next time, show up with intention, speak with confidence, and build connections that pay off. But before we leave, Randall, if somebody wanted your services, wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Randall Avery. I'm a certified financial planner and chartered financial analyst. If you want to reach to me, if you're a business owner looking to build wealth, if you're looking to more strategies on how to grow your wealth and your business, you can go to my website. It's going to be www.deasilwm.com. That's deasilwm.com. I'm also on all social medias. Just look under my name, Randall Avery, and you can find me, follow my content, learn a little bit more how I think and how I help business owners grow their wealth.
That's perfect. Randall, thank you so much. I learned so much by having you on this podcast, so we can probably have another 2 hour talk. But thank you very much for coming on a podcast, and I hope you do well in the future.
Take care. Thank you for having me.
Well, hold on, folks. Don't go anywhere. Let's hear from our sponsors. David Neal, co founder, Revved Up Kids. Revved Up Kids is on a mission to protect children and teens from sexual abuse, exploitation, and trafficking. They provide prevention training programs for children, teens, and adults. To learn more, go to revvedupkids.org. Henry Kaplan, Century 21. When it comes to making the biggest financial decision of your life, leave it in the hands of a proven professional, Henry Kaplan. Henry is a global real estate agent with Century 21, celebrating his 41st year in business. No matter where you're moving, Henry has the right connections for you. You can contact Henry at 561 427 4888. A wrap, folks. A huge thank you to our guest for sharing such incredible insights today. And of course, a big shout out to you, our amazing listeners, for tuning in and spending your time with us. If you're interested in my digital courses, being coached, or having me come and talk to your company, just go to Michael, and fill out the request form. Remember, networking isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. So take what you've learned today, get out there, and make some meaningful connections. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little networking inspiration. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, or my website, forman.com/podcasts.